So then we are back with more understandings from the Renewed Covenant from the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation is from the very original documents from the Hebrews of old, from the prophets of Israel, from the prophets of Yahweh, explaining and giving us the future events based upon the prophetic shadows of the Torah. So then we understand what Shaliach Shaul mentioned regarding those prophetic events, and then we position ourselves as then being in line with the harmony provided from Yahweh, so then during these times we can experience peace and then rebuilding as per then the prophecies stated long ago, and then we begin to understand what it means, the political scenes of the world. As we understand, lots of unrests are yet going on in the Middle East, and we understand also the factor of some of the nations being involved with nuclear programs. And then we can easily understand this factor because people are trying to arm themselves to defend, but the time is not for such. As we understand, it's a time of rebuilding. And though nations they want specialized types of weapons, and we can easily say those are not required because there are other conventional weapons that can be used for the same purpose. The time is for rebuilding, not for armament. And there are nations that must understand this factor because nuclear program and building of bombs takes away the peace so much wanted for centuries. And nations for quite some time they are not going to use war anymore. We have reached a point where then the precision is so high that then requires intervention from the Creator Himself, because people are starting asking questions regarding beyond what was provided. That's why we are during this time of harmony, because of the high precision knowledge spoken of long ago by the prophet Daniel. So then we understand what it means harmony. We are in harmony with our Creator. But the time is for refurbishment, for restoration. It's not any longer for time for war. We don't have anymore the luxury of having our own ways outside of the plan of this time. Regarding nuclear program of Iran, they don't have any choice. They must use the program of the nuclear plant for the electricity used, as they then stated at first. They must give it up, the idea of building a bomb. It's not the time for bombs anymore. It's time for rebuilding. And they must give it up. There is no other choice. Either they give up or then they starve. Because the time the Creator has indicated through His holy prophets, it is the time of rebuilding. That's why then when people they begin to analyze the situation outside of their realms, they find China as the very nation given them the materials required so they can build their countries. It makes no sense for Iran continuing with this nuclear program. Why building a bomb if the time at the moment is for rebuilding? So it's very easily understandable they should be given a choice of then understanding their predicament of an economy more than 100% inflation. Means if you buy an orange today for 50 cents, the next day is double. And the next day is double. And then the other day is double. So it's not worth it going on with a stupid program, building a bomb in times where then the Yahweh has mentioned it's time of peace, it's time of harmony. So Iran should be given the choice of then, if they give up their ideology of building this dangerous nuclear weapon, then the exchange would be then China providing them with great deals of materials so they can rebuild their country. And they receive those cargoes, yet escorted, if they must, so they can start rebuilding their country. And no other nation is going to provoke them any further, because it's not time for provocation. It's time of work, time of rebuilding, until we reach the other phase on Yahweh's agenda. But so far, this is where we are at. The only choice they have is either starve or then rebuild. And not only Iran, but the countries also around should be given the same option. That's why we find in the renewed covenant the very nation responsible for the trade of the end. And they have the largest military in the world, including nuclear weapons. But they are not going to use it, because it's not the time for war. It's time from refraining from war. The time of a peace, the time of rebuilding, time of understanding, because the knowledge has reached such a level where the Creator must then intervene. They must acknowledge there is the hand of the Creator in the earth. It is a time of rebuilding. So from this point, Iran is condemned. If they continue with their nuclear program for harm or for building a bomb, then they have no choice. And the sanctions are going to continue until they starve. They're going to starve to death. They are under siege. There is no escape from. But then the nations around, they must make a deal also of not intruding with their programs of their countries, of their religion, what they believe. And then they are respected as a sovereign country. So then we are in line with the Daniel's statue regarding the base, iron does not mix with clay. Each to his own. Because it's very expensive building a weapon and then having the people facing every day 100% inflation. It's not very fun and not worth it. Because the outcome of this project is starvation. So the best is giving the Iranians a chance of coming clean and then turning around the program for the electricity generation as they promised, and then receive the materials required to rebuild their country. Please stay tuned, much more coming up.